Hi, I'm Graham, and welcome back to Man vs. Film. This is a top 10 of movies that you can watch right now on Netflix US. This month, we have some absolute classic movies on this. We have a Walter Hill favourite of mine. We have a couple of animated movies. We have a couple of movies that predate the 80s, which are fantastic in my opinion. But, let's just go on with it. So number 10 on my list is Fargo. Jerry Lundegaard's inept crime falls apart under the weight of his henchmen, who are pretty much not as good as they were advertised, as well as the persistent police work of a quite pregnant Marge Gunderson. The Coen brothers' crime comedy that really cemented them as one of the best filmmaking teams on the planet. This is full of character actors making the movie their own with these fantastic, nuanced performances. The characters are realised in such a way that you don't get in very many movies. Even people who have bit parts, who show up for a scene or two, you kind of know that person, you know that character. You've probably met people like it before. This is a black comedy crime drama thing, and if you haven't seen it before, it's time to rectify it. Number 9 on my list is Escape from Alcatraz, a true story about 3 inmates who attempted to escape from the notoriously unescapable prison Alcatraz. This is a quiet, low-key escape movie starring Clint Eastwood and Patrick McGoohan. Clint Eastwood is the main character, the prisoner who's trying to escape. Patrick McGoohan is the warden of the prison who knows his history, knows that he's escaped from almost every prison he's been in, and is determined to make sure that he stays put in Alcatraz. It's not full of big dramatic scenes, it's just images of Clint Eastwood working things out, devising his plan, and then it finally gets put into motion in a suspenseful, tense climax of the movie. Number 8 on my list is Sausage Party. A sausage tries to discover the truth about his existence. Definitely not one for the kids. This rude and crude animated movie from the mind of Seth Rogen tackles theology in a rather head-on way. There's no duality in the message that he's trying to put across, and if you're at all religious, you may find this a bit looking down its nose at you. We saw the trailers and we thought this looked amazing, or I did anyway. I found it to be okay. Nothing more than that. It didn't wow me the way that I thought it was going to. I'd be willing to give it a rewatch. If you didn't see it in the big screen, it's now time to stick it on and see if it speaks to you in any way, shape or form. Number 7 on my list is Contact. After years of searching, Dr. Ellie Arway finds conclusive radio proof of intelligent aliens who send plans for a mysterious machine. Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey star in this Robert Zemeckis movie that really seemed to polarise audiences and still does to this day. It raises a very real discussion between science and religion, and a movie that creates a discussion like that is always a good thing. It's interesting to see how your position will fall while watching it. I still think it's a very good movie, not perfect, but still a very interesting one. Number 6 on my list is Walter Hill's The Warriors. A charismatic street gang leader summons all the gangs of New York City to one location to unite them in a plan to take over the city, when somebody kills them and frames it on the gang, the Warriors, who now have to try and make it all the way home to Coney Island through all the territories of the various gangs who all want their blood. This is one of Walter Hill's best movies. It's colourful with the gangs and their over-the-top costume designs and makeup. The violence is hardcore if you kind of want that for like a late 70s, early 80s movie. It's got a terrific 70s score in it, one of those synthesised, populated with popular songs as well. I really like The Warriors. I think it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you need to check this one out. Number 5 on my list is The Blair Witch Project. 3 students disappear after going into the woods to film a documentary on a local legend about the Blair Witch. Probably the most famous found footage movie, and really the one that just kind of kick-started that whole aesthetic in horror. That's maybe not a good thing, probably a bad thing in your book, but this movie works, and it's the reason it kick-started the found footage movement is because it works so well. Now, this was filmed in a very different manner to most pictures, and it really comes across in the acting where the actors didn't know what was happening. It's still quite atmospheric. When you sit down and watch it, turn the lights out, turn the sound up, and prepare to be creeped out. Number 4 on my list is Finding Dory. The friendly but forgettable Dory goes on a hunt to find her missing parents, and everybody discovers the real meaning of family along the way. Pixar do it again. Every time you're starting to count them out, going their movies aren't as good as they used to be, wham, they hit you with a Toy Story 3, they hit you with a Finding Dory, a movie that you just love. And that is this one. And I really like the addition of the new characters as well as the old characters who have moved on a good bit. I really like the octopus. I think he's a great addition and was my favourite part of this movie. It's a great story that moves along at a great pace but still maintains that Pixar notion of having great heart and meaning behind the storytelling. It's a terrific movie. Number 3 on my list is Superbad. Two codependent high school seniors try to come to terms with the fact that they're going to be separated after high school during one day as they try to get to a booze-soaked party. McLovin. You say McLovin and you probably know what I'm talking about. It's the most memorable thing from this movie. And it's a shame really, because this is a movie really about a friendship between two people. As all the other things are going on, it's all about these two main characters and the really close bond that they have. Now, I hadn't seen this for years when I rewatched it again, and I think it's terrific. It really went up in my esteem this time around. Yes, it's riotously funny. Yes, it's got characters that I really liked and I thought the situations were funny. But at the heart of the movie is heart. Heart between these two main characters who you've probably had that experience in your life where you've had to let somebody go even though you've got such a close bond. Number 2 on my list is Harold and Maude. Young, rich and obsessed with death, Harold finds himself changed forever by meeting Maude at a funeral. But this is a terrific movie. It's a love story between a teenager and a woman who's just about to turn 70. Strange, I know, but it's more about the bond. Harold really is obsessed with death and kind of looking towards the morbid route in life, where Maude, who is at that age where somebody should be afraid of death, embraces life. She embraces everything about him and brings Harold out, brings his personality out and makes him the person that he should be rather than being obsessed with this death. It is ridiculously funny as well. It's got these fake suicide scenes throughout the movie that are come out of nowhere but are just jaw-droppingly funny. It's got a terrific soundtrack as well. I saw this movie for the first time a couple of years ago and it has stuck with me ever since, and I watch it regularly. It's a terrific film that you should definitely give it a chance. And don't just give it 5 minutes, stick with it for a good 20 minutes to half an hour. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Number 1 on my list for March 2017 is 12 Angry Men. A jury holdout tries to prevent a miscarriage of justice by forcing his colleagues to reassess the evidence. This movie is regarded as a classic, and it is a classic for a reason. It is basically a kind of stage play. It is set in one room as these 12 people deliberate over the case that they've just heard. Now, we hear bits and pieces of the evidence throughout this story that we can piece together what happened, but the best thing about it is we don't know these characters as they sit down. They don't really know each other, but their personalities start to develop and come out throughout the movie, and you really get a feel for everybody in this room and what may be behind their decisions in casting that adjudication. 12 Angry Men is a movie that every now and again I throw on and I forget how wonderfully engrossing it is, and it is a terrific movie. Again, another one I'm going to say it, you've got to check this thing out. If I've missed anything, or if there's anything you think I should have had on my list, let me know in the comment box below. Other people may see it, I will definitely see it, and maybe it'll make on to April's list. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on Man vs Film.